but a while ago, Duncan Robinson said the G League is the second most talented league in the world, right? So you've played at every level now. You played NBA, you played EuroLeague, you played G League. We got to get your thoughts. Is he tripping, or is he on point with that?
Yeah. I don't agree with that. I maybe he's trying to say as far as like there's some like crazy talented guys in the G League, like that could really score the ball. But as far as saying the league as a whole is the most talented league, I don't agree with that because I will say there's crazy scoring talent in the G League, but not as a league as a whole, like the most talent.
Welcome back to the Role Player Podcast, presented by Swish Cultures, featured on Eurohoops.net as well as Spotify or anywhere else you get your podcast, especially Swish Cultures YouTube page. So if you listening, go ahead down there and hit that like button. Go ahead, follow, subscribe, check out all the other videos. And we back again. Stanford gentleman, Anthony Goods, 11-year overseas pro. Swish Culture CEO, founder, man. What's happening with you? What's good? You looking a little sleepy this morning, man. Wake up.
Man. I'm hurting right now. I've been a year too long. Been cutting my own hair. Had a couple slip ups. But you know what I'm saying? You looking right over there. You got some new headphones. You must have got a couple checks already. You know what I mean? They count.
Yo, you know me, living paycheck to paycheck. Check just hit the account. I went and spent that motherfucker already. You know what I'm saying? Man, spent it, got me some headphones. Went back to the States this weekend, got a cut.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, life is
you
good.
taking
right
weekend
now,
trips
man.
You taking weekend trips to the States?
Hey man, I got into the Hall of Fame at UW, so I went back to the crib.
That's big time right
did
there.
That real quick.
Congrats on that. Congrats on that, man.
Appreciate that. I see you cut your hair and then didn't brush it after, but that's all right though. We're gonna let that rock today. We're gonna let that rock, man. Hey, but listen, we joined today, man. Very special guest. We joined by an NBA champion, 2019 NBA champ with the Toronto Raptors. Adriatic League champion, a VTB United League champion, an Israeli League All-Star, All-NBA G League first team in 2019 as well, Serbian Cup winner, Serbian League champion, and a EuroLeague vet and scoring savant.
Man.
We got the one and only Jordan Loyd. Yeah, we show love over here.
JT, that was
man.
a hell of an introduction, bro. I appreciate that, man.
Hey,
thank you,
man. That's what we do.
Thank you.
That's what we do. We was thinking about rebranding to the Show Love Podcast. You know what I'm saying? We kept it with the Role Player.
Man, you got a hell of a Wikipedia page.
Yeah,
with all of their accolades.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it sound pretty good, man. So I appreciate that.
It's solid.
Hey, one of the coolest ones. I don't know if it's an accolade or how you feel about it, but one of the coolest ones is you being a part of that Kawhi shot. What they call you?
Oh,
the guy,
the random guy in the suit, man. That thing, it wasn't supposed to stick like that, bro. Like it wasn't supposed to be that big of a deal. It was just this one reporter on ESPN. She was like naming all the people in the pick, and then she got to me and she was like, some random guy in the suit. You know, she had no idea who I was, which that's okay. You know what I'm saying? I didn't play a lot at all. And then so I just kind of ran with it after we won. I was like, and then it just kind of blew up. So that's that.
Hey, was you able to make any money off of that or like parlay?
You know what? I wasn't because more so of COVID. I was ready to, and then some COVID happened, and then it was like I had a bunch of ideas, and then after that, I kind of just let it be, man. But I think going back, I probably should have done something more with it than I did. But it's all good. It's all good.
And that shot's going down in history. So I'm sure at some point, if you want to,
I'll be able to track
back. If you want to, they'll just bring it back up. No doubt.
Yes,
no doubt. Hey, but man, you in Monaco this year. We didn't mention that. You back in the EuroLeague again. So we're gonna start there. Y'all are coming off of Monaco's coming off a really good season. Made it to the playoffs there, lost to Olympiacos in 5, and y'all just reloaded, right? Y'all are replacing guys like Dwayne Bacon.
Yeah.
So talk about kind of the prospect that Monaco has going into the season, and then having 3 guys who can score the ball like yourself, Elie Okobo, and Mike James, and what that's going to look like.
Yeah, well, first off, like you said, they had a hell of a team last year. I think they were the top leading scoring team in EuroLeague. So big expectations this year. I think on paper, obviously, we look really good. We have just about everything we need. But I think the word that's been coming to mind for me is sacrifice. We got a lot of guys, not just us three, but we got guys. Jerron Blossom game coming up. We got Dante Hall, Demo, Alpha Diallo. I mean, we got a long list of guys. So everybody's gonna kind of have to just figure out how we play, and then just know it's not going to be the same as probably how it's been for everyone. We got to share the ball, got to play together. So sacrifice is the word that comes to me. And I think so far in preseason, we've all had a really good mentality with that and kind of getting to know each other.
First of all, for those that don't know, we've heard guys like Luka in the past say it's easier to score in the NBA than it is in EuroLeague.
Yeah.
So with this kind of like new wave, because I can't remember a team like y'all's in EuroLeague. Maybe, again, that's our EuroLeague resident savant over there, so you could tell us. But I can't remember a team having 3 guard scorers like y'all got this year. So talk about how hard is it to score in EuroLeague, because you was a top scorer when you was a Red Star. So talk about how hard it is to score in EuroLeague and the differences.
Yeah. Oh, I'm okay. Thank you. Sorry about that, y'all. I think a big thing, obviously, as far as I think, my year at Red Star, it was big credit to the role I had. I was like kind of the go-to guy for sure. But I think when people say it's harder to score in Europe, it's because of the defense. There's no defense of 3 seconds. Guys are loading the paint. But then you kind of see teams like Ephes, who's won, 2 back-to-back, and they have a really crazy, 2 guards that have Shane and Misses. They could really score the ball, and then you see like our team loading up with guards. So it is like a new wave, but I don't know. I guess it's kind of like pick your poison. It's like you can load up your team certain different ways. You can kind of get a defensive team. You can kind of get a team that might be more of a systematic team. So it just depends on what the coach and what the team wants to do. But I think it can work. Like I said, I think that's been the biggest thing. Everybody's been DMing me like, oh, you only got 1 ball. You're going to need 5 basketballs. They love saying that in Europe. You're going to need 5, 6, 7 basketballs. And I'm like, I have no problem, sharing the ball. Mike has no problem sharing the ball. And I'm sure Ellie's going to feel the same way. So I think it'll be good. I think it'll work out.
I think that's the biggest thing. Like when you look at like Ephes and, their transition, like bringing in like Boubois, like who's obviously a player that can go, he can shoot it. He can do pretty much a lot of the things that, let's say, Micic and, Shane can do. And then I felt like he's adapted his game probably the most, as far as like not having the ball in his hands as much. But, I mean, we even seen it in the preseason. He's been leading them in scoring and, he's had like 20-point games and stuff like that. But I feel like, just sacrificing in general, like you said earlier, man, is the most important thing. And, like, when you look at a team like Ephes, like, they all made the sacrifices and won.
I mean, they basically have the blueprint. They have a bunch of scores, like you said. And then for me, I kind of got the mindset, hey, if I got to, rebound a little more, try to lock up the best player a little more, do little things a little more. That's kind of always been my MO. So guys will be able to do what they do. I'm not going to be overpowering or try to overcompensate. I think it's going to make our lives easier, honestly. So we should enjoy it, to be honest.
Man, someone like yourself, how do you approach scoring as a scorer? How do you approach the game in EuroLeague versus G League or the NBA? Like, what are you going into the game? What's your mentality, strategies, whatever?
Man, that's a good question. It's funny, in the G League, Toronto was telling me they really wanted to see me play more of a point guard role. So they were really trying to really see me in that leadership role, get guys involved. And I felt like I did a decent job of that. So honestly, going into the G League, I was like, scoring was going to come. It was kind of like, what else could you do? I was almost out there trying to see, like, not experiment, but just see, like, okay, can I set up these guys? Can I, do a little bit different? In EuroLeague, to start the game, usually I'm kind of like, all right, I know whoever the best defender is probably going to be guarding me. So, I got to try to get some easy buckets early and then, draw some fouls early and then just take the easy shots early because I know I'm going to get, as the game goes, it's going to be tougher and tougher. But that's probably the difference. Like, I'm not really thinking about scoring as much per se in the G League, or it just kind of flows easily. And then over the years in EuroLeague, it's kind of been the same thing. Like, my first year was kind of a struggle trying to pick my spots in Valencia and then understanding the system. That was a little different. And then Red Star had a crazy role, so I was able to just kind of go out there and be free, not really worry about too much butt scoring. And then Zenit, it was like a combination of both. I had to play point guard. We didn't really have a PG last year. Then I had to score. Then I had to. So it's been a lot of back and forth. But I think that's just helping me become, more diverse, more adaptable to any situation that I'm put in. So I think it's preparing me, for year 4, EuroLeague.
So that being said, what you think is so Red Stars, Zenit, and you guys were good teams, but now Monaco, y'all expected to make noise. Would you prefer, and this is for both of y'all, would you prefer to be on a mediocre EuroLeague team or mediocre bottom pack EuroLeague team and be the scorer, or be on a team like this where you kind of got to share responsibilities, not from a winning standpoint, but just from a career standpoint? I guess you don't even have to answer personally, but what do you think is an easier situation to make money? What do you think is better for your career?
And go ahead, man. I know you got.
Man, I think being on a team where you can kind of control your own destiny, in regards to having opportunities to score the ball, I think is better for your career. You know what I mean? I think like it's tough to have to go into a situation, especially when you're trying. You have a lot of your career left, but to go in a situation where you're only going to get 6 to 8 shots, and you got to make 4, 5 of those 6, or 6 of those 8 shots. Like, that's a lot of pressure to carry throughout an entire season, as opposed to knowing you're getting 15 shots a night. You can kind of control your own destiny. So I think it's always the safer bet to do that. Obviously, winning and things like that play a huge role in regards to getting better paychecks in Europe. But at the end of the day, you get paid for your performance. You know what I mean? So I think it's always better to have a little more freedom.
Yeah, I'll second that. I mean, for me, I think as far as your career, just taking winning aside, yeah, you want to go somewhere where you can have a role, like a really good role. I talked to some of my friends who, either looking for a job or were contemplating on where to go. And I'm like, you want to go where you're going to play and that you're going to be an important option, because all that's going to do is help propel your career, and you're going to do what you do. We know we can hoop. We know we're going to play well. So it's just you want to – but a lot of guys don't have that opportunity. They're on a team where they don't get the minutes or they don't get the shots. And as little as that might sound, man, it's detrimental probably to, what you could probably possibly do the following year, especially if you're on a 1-year deal. So I think going somewhere where you're prioritized for sure, have a good role is super important.
See, I asked because I feel like there's this shift going on. I feel like when maybe some 10, whatever years ago, it was you could play. It was better to play a smaller role and win rather than to be, the guy on a team where you're, at the bottom of the league or whatever. So I don't know what the shift is. If it's analytics, like you said, you could shoot 40% back. I don't know what it is. But, me personally, I'm on a Euro Cup team where they're already asking me to play 32 minutes in preseason. I'm like, y'all bucket. Give me that 23.
I think it has to do with like, the style of play changing over the years. I think like the NBA and the European game is, becoming more and more similar as the years are going. There's a lot more possessions than like 12 years ago. Like when we first came over to Europe, like the possessions, like everything was just so much slower. But now you're seeing NBA offenses, in various teams in Europe, and the games, bigs are getting smaller, guards are getting taller. Like the game is shifting, a lot more 3-pointers. So I think with that being said, you need guys that can put the ball in the basket. Whereas in the slower days, like you'll take that guy that's averaging 8 points and 5 rebounds because you just want to plug him into, your slow ass offense. But that's not getting it done. That's not getting it done anymore.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, before I came to EuroLeague, I heard like, you only going to average probably about 6 to 8 points, your first year, and it's tough to get the shots. And I could see where that was coming from, especially in Spain. It was like real systemized, system offense and point guard. I wasn't a PG, so point guards running the show, getting people involved, and it was really different, especially playing in Israel and then playing in the G League and stuff like that. So I could see how people really thought the game was, I could see how back it was a little slower, and then now it's kind of picking up and transforming more to NBA games. So I get that for sure.
Man, I think it's a credit to you because I feel like even EuroLeague, I feel like it's been even more recently. I feel like you've been part of that, like that wave of for lack of a better term, the experimental, swing guards that score, and like you, Mike, even Shane a little bit. All y'all are the dudes that maybe 10 years ago is like if it didn't work out now, I feel like it might have gone sideways. Like they would have been like, oh hell, this don't work. But y'all doing your thing really progressed the game forward over here, I think.
I appreciate that, man, because a lot of people, the two guard position is kind of like people really, it's like a love hate, because like if you're scoring, sometimes they're like all you're doing is scoring, like you're not giving anything else to the team. And in Europe, they want to see you, do other things. Obviously, you want to pitch in other ways. So if you're just truly only a scorer, man, even certain teams might not even offer you based on just that. They might not want just a two guard who only thinks about shooting when that's not even who I am. I have no problem doing different things. I have no problem taking less shots, getting people involved. Last year in VTB finals, man, I was literally playing the one, like the entire finals basically, like just setting my teammates up because they were not trapping, but like high hedging, kind of doubling me off pick and rolls, and I had to really just get rid of the ball, just make the easy play. And I'm not pressed to shoot the ball, so people in Europe really have that. I don't know. I guess that cover over you if you're a two guard and can score. They're like that's all you can offer, and that's not really the case.
That's a great segue. You already playing host, because one of the questions I was going to ask was, what is the hardest position to play in basketball right now? And it could be different. You can answer based on league, but this for both of y'all again. What's the hardest position to play in basketball? Whether it's NBA, EuroLeague, G League, whatever.
Go ahead, and you got one?
Yeah, I always think it's the point guard position. I think it's the toughest because now you're expected to score the ball. Before you could be Ricky Rubio and make a career. Yeah. You can't be Ricky Rubio anymore. And I think that you got to be able to score the ball and defend multiple positions. Like as we talked about the last episode, these small guards are becoming extinct because there's no switchability there. You know what I mean? And I think that that's definitely the toughest position. Hey, and it's funny, man. I was watching France play the other day, and like Jordan Taylor's like a Rudy Gobert hater. Like he like hates him.
I'm a Rudy Gobert realist. But continue.
A realist.
Hey, but the funny thing was, I was watching Rudy, man, and it really blew my mind how skilled he isn't. You know what I'm saying? At this level, like there are no bigs for real. Like, you know what I mean? And he couldn't finish around the rim. Like I'm talking about like easy stuff. Yeah. But I feel like as a big these days, like if you just rebound, block shots, like you can make a living. Guards have to be skilled.
Yes, we were just talking about Rudy. But what it is with Rudy, I feel like, because he makes so much money, you think he's supposed to be just doing everything. I'm like, man, that's not Rudy's job. Rudy's job is stand there. He takes up the entire paint, block shots, rebound, and then you see he helped them win in overtime where they put backs, stuff like plays. That. And it doesn't look good, JT. I know what you're saying. Like, it don't look flashy, it don't look good. He doesn't really finish the way you would think he's supposed to because he's right there. But I get it.
I want to be clear that I am not a Rudy Gobert hater. Anthony Goods tries to slander my good name on every one of these shows. I'm not a Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is what he is, like you said. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna struggle against smaller lineups. He's gonna struggle, but he's a vital piece. He's probably one of the best interior defenders, maybe of all time. So I'll give him credit for that. But as far as, he definitely has his drawbacks. Ant scared me when he said, he's as skilled as he isn't. I thought you was about to say as he is. But, you really scared me with that. But, he's fine. Me, I think in the NBA, the toughest position to play is that 3-and-D position, that wing. Just from a mental standpoint. Not necessarily from a responsibility standpoint, just because I can't imagine, as good as someone like Dame Lillard and C.J. McCollum is, I can't imagine being a dude who's a top pick or a first-round pick, been a scorer, running up and down the court, guarding the other team's best player. You got guard KD, you got guard Bron, you got to guard whoever. They over here probably busting your ass. And then you running back down on the other end, not touching the ball. And when you do touch it, it's really not in rhythm. You got to make shots. And then you run it back down on this other end. getting your ass busted. Like, that just can't be good for your mental. That's gonna hurt my feelings at some point. Like, golly. So
Yeah,
that just from a different perspective, I would say that might be in the NBA. In Europe, it's probably right now it's probably the guard position, just because an American guard position, just because there's so much pressure and so much pressure to perform every night, and so much responsibility to create for others, guard, do everything.
I agree with that. I mean, NBA, I would say kind of what I said, the PG spot for both. But I never thought about the 3-and-D. That's a good point. They really do have to go guard the best spot, and then be efficient. Because if you're not, like playing alongside, like they gonna exile you. Yeah. But for sure, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, but with the 3-and-D though, I mean, teams switch so much. Like, you know what I mean? I think I felt like back in the day, Bruce Bowen had to stay on Kobe. Like, they weren't letting him switch off of Kobe at all. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Ever.
Whereas now, there's just so
everything.
much switching and, like, just disguising zones in different ways. Like, I think there's a lot more help to that 3-and-D position, or a lot less expectations in regards to on the defensive end.
I think that teams switch, but I think you look at a team like Phoenix, Mikal Bridges' job, like the offense is hunting those switches. Mikal Bridges' job is to not switch in some of those instances. And sometimes, all right, you get forced to switch. But his job is to not switch. His job is to stay with, C.J. McCollum, Brandon Ingram. That's his job. And, all right, he might have another dude out there, Cam Johnson, whoever, and Devin Booker, obviously. But, man, that's a lot of work, man. And then you got to go get 15 on the other end. Like you said, you can't be Bruce. Bruce Bowen on offense stood in the corner, relatively speaking. Relatively speaking.
He was hitting, though.
He was hitting
when he had to.
He was hitting.
For sure.
But Mikal Bridges, he got to go. He's moving. The offenses are a lot more movement intensive. He's moving on the offensive end. He got to get in the paint when he's asked to. He got to make shots. So, boy.
That's true. But I feel like that. If stuff was to go south with them, it would be Chris Paul's fault. You see what I'm saying? Like that, only because like that PG spot, that leadership role. I guess it's like whoever the leader of that team. But I can see that. I never thought about that. The 3-and-D. That's a little different.
Yeah,
I like
from a media standpoint, it's definitely going to be CP or Devin Booker's fault.
Media,
no question.
But as Hoopers, we know though.
Yeah,
we know.
Yeah. You already know what time it is, but it is what it is. But backtracking a little bit, you being all NBA, all G League first team early in your career and making that jump to the league. We've been talking for a minute, but a while ago, Duncan Robinson said the G League is the second most talented league in the world, right? So you've played at every level now. You played NBA, you played EuroLeague, you played G League. We got to get your thoughts. Is he tripping, or is he on point with that?
Yeah. I don't agree with that. I maybe he's trying to say as far as like there's some like crazy talented guys in the G League, like that could really score the ball. Like I've seen a lot of guys. I'm trying to think of some guys I played. I mean, I played against a lot of guys in the G League, guys that's been up, down, in and out of the league, and they can really, really. I mean, Jordan McRae, Jordan Crawford. I mean, like the list goes. Like there's a lot of guys. So, but as far as saying the league as a whole is the most talented league, I don't agree with that, because I will say there's crazy scoring talent in the G League, but not as a league as a whole, like the most talent. I mean, the EuroLeague to me, still would have to get as a whole. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like it would have to get like the cake, because I think top to bottom, you're gonna find guys just about on every team that could do different things. Bigs that are skilled, can shoot. Just a little bit more diversity. In G League, man, all your scoring usually coming from the guards, and then you might have I played with Chris Boucher. He was a different animal too. He was kind of a 4 or 5, could shoot, could do everything. But you don't see too much of that in the G League, honestly. Usually you see a lot of guards putting up most of the bigger numbers, I think, at least from my experience. And then in the EuroLeague, I think you'll have guys that are a little more diverse. The game is also, like people say, it's tougher to score in Europe. I do agree with that. So I'm gonna have to go with I can't agree with the G League being the second most talented league in the world. I can't get down with that, I don't think.
Yo, I had this before Duncan came out with this. I had this argument with my guy Xavier Silas, and he was saying that
bucket getter. Well, he can shoot.
Yeah, nah, volume shooter, volume shooter. Volume shooter. X gets him up, but
he does good. He can shoot though.
Nah, he can shoot for sure. Nah, he's a bucket. But I think when we were talking, and he was saying the same thing. He was saying that he thinks the G League is better than EuroLeague. So we get into this text argument, and I think that like the point that he was making is that there are so many players coming down. So you have like NBA players that are coming down, the rookies, the young guys that are coming down, which makes the league better. But the argument that I was making is like you can't take like the probably even the second, third, or fourth guy and put them on a EuroLeague team and think that they're going to make that team. Whereas you could take, and his argument was like you can't take the local players and put them on a G League team. And I was like, you probably could. You know what I'm saying? You could put some of these local players on these EuroLeague teams on these G League teams, and they can make the team. Think about the bottom half of these G League rosters, and a lot of these guys couldn't make a EuroLeague team.
JT like
wait. Hold on. Go ahead. No, Jordan, go ahead.
No. I agree. Like when we talk about like the transition of guys like going from the league to Europe, it seems like that's tougher than guys going from Europe to the league. Does that make sense? That's to me. Like it seems like when you see a guy that's really killing the G League or killing it in or just solid NBA player and they come to Europe and it's just because the style of play is different. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the game is completely different. So like even some of these local guys you're talking about to go put them on a G League team, they might struggle too unless all their job is to do is like rebound, spot up, shoot, or I don't know, be a defender. I don't know whatever they would do, but I feel like they have a better chance of translating there because of the style of play and how every possession isn't like do or die or, you know what I'm saying? Like they might have a better chance of translating from Europe to the G League than the G League to EuroLeague just because of the style of play.
Okay, let's look at the rotation players. Rotation player in the G League, let's say like, rotation player in EuroLeague. I feel like that rotation player in EuroLeague would have more success in the G League than vice versa. I mean, it's even with the differences in the style of play because there's so many more possessions in the G League. Like he's gonna get his fast break layups or whatever. He's gonna score a couple off of like the back doors, and then usually the rotation players in EuroLeague they play so hard. In the G League, like if you just play hard, you're gonna walk into 10 points.
I think that's an opportunity thing though. Like there's just more opportunity in the G League. I think, like you saying, from a possession standpoint, from just the style of play. To me, when you go from the States to Europe, the biggest challenge are two things. Is one, the culture, just mentally wrapping your mind around the culture from being in a different country to the way you're treated, the way you're being or accustomed to being treated as an athlete, whether it's two-a-days, yada, yada, yada. And then from when you're going from Europe to and I forgot my second point, so it's early. I'm gonna jump around, but and going from Europe to the G League, I feel like when you struggle is just really just because you're getting dragged. Like you just can't keep up with the speed. You can't keep up with the athletes.
Yeah, you can't. And
it's a pure, and I guess I probably should have prefaced the question by saying how do we define talent, but so for me, talent wise, it's just it's tough. I think talent is obviously athleticism. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying, and I think now per se, I feel like the NBA is like. They're drafting a lot of guys off potential, athletic ability, and then they're trying, like Scotty Barnes. You know what I'm saying? Like he's looking crazy though. He's looking like way more skilled. He's getting better. But like guy like that, you see, he's like big frame, can jump, can do just about everything, but not necessarily the most skilled player probably in that draft. But they'll take, you know what I'm saying? Like guys like they're starting to draft like prospects like that, young guys that could kind of you can see them doing everything.
So is that talent though?
Talent.
Is that talent?
Me and Mike talk about this all the time. Like he'll be like, he'll say somebody's like not a good basketball player, and I'll be like, well, technically the attributes, jumping, running, all that is basketball. You see what I'm saying? But I get what he's saying. He's trying to say like he's not that skilled as far as like put the ball on the floor, create his own shot, touch, things like that. And so that's a good question. I don't really know how to define talent, to be perfectly honest with you, because some of that I can't do some of the stuff they be doing, jumping, dunking, athleticism, all that stuff. That's talent to me because I ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? So
Man.
it's like it just depends on your perspective.
I be going back and forth for people. I feel like this is one of the most like the hottest topics amongst hoopers right now is that skilled. Is he a good basketball player versus or is he Giannis? Can he score? Is he a good scorer? Or like is Giannis a scorer?
Yeah, because he's dropping 40 in Europe, but he's not. But he's not. When you hear score, you think Kobe,
right.
You think Dirk, you think the game. It's different. So I see both sides.
Who's a better scorer right now? Is it Giannis or is it Kyrie? Because it's like just being honest. Because Giannis is going to score 30 in 32 minutes. So at the end of the day, your only job is to put the ball in the basket. You could throw that joint with one hand, hit the backboard hard as shit, but if it go in, it go in, right?
That's what I'll be saying. I be like, I get what you're saying. Like, it don't look as nice as Kyrie. Kyrie has tougher. Kyrie's not 7 foot just running over people, dunking. Like he has to really work for his baskets, and he has crazy skill. But at the end of the day, 2 points is 2 points. 3 points is 3 points. So yeah, Giannis technically would be a scorer, but he's not. He's not, like Kyrie per se. He doesn't score the same way, I guess.
It ain't that poetry.
I think the IQ is probably like a piece in this debate that I think gets overlooked, because I think you look at like Giannis, like he has the IQ to know like he's not going to be shooting step back threes, like, and he knows like I'm running downhill on this fast break, I'm going to run into you and I'm getting to the foul line. Like that's a smart basketball play because nobody's going to stand in front of him and take a charge or whatever it may be. So, and you also have, Kyrie, who has the IQ to know, okay, I have this elite ability to handle the ball, and I can get people out of my way, and all these other things. So I think that talent, is using, your IQ to maximize your abilities. Whatever they are. I
like that. Yeah.
So I think that it can look, if we want to call Giannis' game, like for the sake of the conversation, ugly. It can look uglier than, let's say, than a Kyrie. But at the end of the day, man, I think it's talent. It just shows itself in different ways.
I think having less in your bag, excuse me. I think having less in your bag is more beneficial for some people to being a scorer. Like I think there's times where, like I watch Kyrie basketball. I watch Kyrie play basketball every day of the week, like twice on Sunday. Like man, but I think there's times when you're watching him when it's like, bro, you just cross the shit out of dude, just shoot it, and he going like he's so cold that he might hit you bink bink and bring it back and do it again, like bro, like, and get a worse shot for real.
Like,
but he still might make it.
Yeah.
But it's like damn.
Bored with the game, man. Like I remember Toronto, they would always preach that, not to me, but like some of the guys that were playing Kawhi, they were like, if he's killing, they would just like, don't get bored with it. And Kawhi, he gonna do what he does. Like whatever he's doing, he's gonna keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I remember them preaching that all the time. Malcolm Miller, a guy who I'm actually pretty close with, he's a crazy shooter. He can really shoot the ball, and we would shoot the ball after practice. And coach would come in there, don't get bored making shots, because you start getting lackadaisical, you start trying stuff, and it's like, hey, don't get bored, keep going. So when you said that, it's like Kyrie probably like, I done did this for so long, I'm trying to see what else I can do, and then make the game tougher, which that's how good they are. You know what I'm saying? So hey, if you could do that, you could do that. He's one of those guys I feel like that could really do that.
That's a dope saying. I'm gonna start saying bored with the game. I don't know if I really heard that before. That's a different level.
Yeah, that's
a different level.
Jordan, the reason you didn't hear that is because you didn't go to a school like Stanford. But at Stanford, my head coach used to say, "Don't get bored with success." You know what I mean? If you could score 40, if you could just score 40 doing one dribble pull-ups, like. He was saying players in your generation are going to get tired of that. They want to, start adding a step back and do all that other stuff. He's like, if you can get 40 doing one thing, go get 40 doing one thing. Do that for an entire season. Like, but it is, I mean, because I think playing basketball is an art. Like, we always trying to add different things to our game, and we want to showcase.
Always.
There's a part of it where we want to showcase everything that we can do. Even if we're not that good at a particular skill, but. We definitely do get bored, but no disrespect to Wisconsin and your Hall of Fame and induction and all that other stuff. You know what I mean?
No disrespect. We're gonna find out November 7th, November 8th, or whatever it is this year.
I think it's the 11th.
The 11th, whatever it is. We go find out.
In, man.
We gonna find out this year, man. You keep acting like Stanford ain't a mid-major school for real. No disrespect to the mid-major. Shout out my guy Jordan Loyd, one of the greats from one of the Indianapolis and Furman. I know you did.
It did win.
Yeah, I did.
So y'all big time. I'm not even on this level. Right
you shit. You doing things we didn't. So don't, what I'm saying? That man, Stanford over there getting dragged in the Pac-10. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever it's called. Y'all don't even got a conference no more. That shit about to be abolished.
No, we don't. As long as we get that one win this year, as long as we get that one, I might have to.
One of my boys went to Stanford. Anthony Brown.
Yeah, AB.
And that's my boy, man. I've known him since I was a child, man. So, I like Stanford because he went there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know much about it, but and then Wisconsin. Come on, bro. Wisconsin is like.
What is it?
I mean,
what is it? Wisconsin is what?
Hey, I'll be real with you.
Dope.
Yep.
I played with him. I played with him in Israel for a little bit. He was older then, but he was still getting to it. I don't know too much about Wisconsin either, but I just know y'all be
Wisconsin is the epitome of don't get bored with success, man. Running the damn swing offense, run it to death, and get that Sweet 16, the Elite 8. We gonna run that to death. Run them cuts. I heard don't get bored with success, but I ain't heard don't get bored with the game. There's a difference, you know what I'm saying? There's a difference. But that's really interesting to hear. You had a story. When you was in Toronto, you was playing scout team for you with Steph on the scout team, right?
Yeah. I had like every series I was a different person. So I think first I was like DJ Augustine, had to watch film on him. We played Orlando, and then we played for that Philly. I don't remember who I was there. I wasn't myself the whole playoffs. So and then we get to Milwaukee, I like middle, so you just have and then we got to the finals, and basically the scout team would have to, just watch a little bit of film on what they do. And we weren't practicing hard or anything, but when we did practice or we had to be able to run their plays without them saying anything, show the look. And man, I ain't even touched the ball. If I was Steph, I'm just basically just running around. They was I'm like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? They're not even letting me get the ball. So I don't know how great I did of showing out I was Steph, but it was pretty cool to just feel like you were pitching in and being able to contribute to the team, man. So that felt pretty dope. Just to kind of the guys that weren't playing, we were doing our own thing, trying to help the guys that were. So it was pretty cool.
Man, what's it like? What's that NBA defense like? You said you couldn't touch the ball,
man. I'm telling you, combination of Pascal, Kawhi. And then Kalo, man, them guys was even Danny, they were just so physical, man. It literally was tough for me just to get to where I needed to get to on the floor. Kawhi is the strongest dude I ever played against. Side story with him, training camp, I remember I was so nervous, man. We had 6 goals, and we were doing one-on-one at all the different goals. And whoever had the most points at the end of 10 minutes went to the main goal and played in front of everybody. It was this big deal. And, of course, I make it. I don't know how, but I had a lot of points. I was cooking. I was ready. And I get to the end. It's me, Norman Powell, and Kawhi. And so who do I match up first with? Kawhi. I had zero chance of stopping this dude. All he did was put one shoulder, went by me, dumped. And I also was thinking, I'm not going to be the one to hurt the franchise player. You got it, bro. Y'all not finna cut me for that. You got it. But I just remember how strong dude was. I was this is the strongest dude I've ever, ever played against. He's just naturally it's crazy. He put his hand out, you ain't going nowhere. So but yeah, it was crazy. The defense, that tandem with Pascal and then having Marc Gasol out there, it was a lot of length, a lot of good pace. They set the team up right at the end. So it was pretty crazy.
Man, because a lot of times you hear guys talk, or I guess people talk about the NBA is not physical no more. So Is there a difference in the physicality? Like, do you notice little things about how, say, Kawhi is physical versus EuroLeague, or even Kawhi is physical versus, another NBA defender? Because obviously he's one of the best.
The game. Well, I've only played in like 12 games or so in the league. And during the regular season, I feel like it's completely like it's really different than how the playoffs were. Man, I didn't play in the playoffs, but just watching, I mean, the refs let you get away with a lot more stuff in the playoffs. So you could check people, you could hit people. So it had that same speed as the regular season, but it just got a lot more grimy. You know what I'm saying? You have to work a lot harder for whatever you did get. So I noticed that very quickly, even in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, I was like, man, the referees let you play in the playoffs. So I think the biggest difference, like regular season, it was kind of tough because when I got in, sometimes it was like it wasn't that bad. Either it was garbage time or it was like into the second quarter, and it was like kind of just free flowing. It was pretty easy. You dribble the ball up. But when you get in garbage time, guys trying to press you, you're like, man, I've been sitting on the bench for 2 hours, and then I get in, they pressing you, you trying to, I'm like, I can't even get what I need to do. But nah, I think it was pretty similar to the G League as far as the flow, but the playoffs is completely different. That's what I noticed.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So, man, we're going to fast forward a little bit, too. We're going to make sure people hear, because you got a wild story coming from, obviously, NBA champion, and then you went overseas, but this journey you had to the EuroLeague included a buyout in Darüşşafaka, right, in Turkey?
Yeah.
So give us the story
I
behind
haven't
that.
talked about that.
Give us the story behind it.
I've never really opened up too much. I will now, but too much about what happened with all that, man. It was kind of crazy. So the agent I had at the time, it was before Summer League. So if anybody listening out there, man, go to Summer League, free agent, man. Don't leave it, which makes sense, right? It's common sense, like duh. But no, go to Summer League with your options open. But anyway, so I had an agent a while back, and I had this deal to Jerusalem, and I was like, oh man, my first EuroLeague deal. I'm excited. I'm like, not really. I don't care about the money. I was like excited to play EuroLeague, so I was like, let's do this. And then so my agent was like, I told him, I was like, well, what if I go to Summer League, I do well, and the team wants me. He's like, oh, I'll get you out. I'll get you out. Me at the time, I don't know any better. I'm like, okay, cool. He gonna get me out. I'm gonna be good. So, not asking any questions, not knowing that you have to have outs in your contract, not knowing any of that stuff. So yeah, get to Summer League. And ironically enough, with Toronto, like I don't have a great Summer League. I have back spasms. I don't play that much. I played like 2 games. The 2 games I played, I did okay. I mean, I was really struggling. And then I'm like, man, I'm not finna get nothing. I'm headed to Turkey. Like, that's gonna be that. So I'm getting off the plane. He calls me, he's like, man, Toronto wants you for a two-way. I'm like, stop playing. I was like, I ain't do nothing. He was like, bro, I'm telling you. I was like, bet. So I got really excited. I said, oh wait, I'm signed. So what are we doing? You going we gotta get out of this, right? He said, oh yeah, just give me a couple of days, da da da. We're gonna get you out. I said, bet. So I'm going home telling everybody the news, man. I'm like, thinking I'm about to be in the league, like this is gonna be crazy, yada yada. And 2 days go by, I don't hear nothing. So I'm like, all right, he's taking his time, I talk, I'm like, I'm be patient. A week go by, don't hear nothing. So then I'm like, all right. So I call. I'm like, dude, what's the status? And he's like, man, they're playing hardball. They don't want you to go. Da da da. And I've only been signed for like a week now, literally like a week and a half at max. So then I get my pops involved. I'm going to him for some counseling. I'm like, Dad, like, I can't. What are we gonna do if I can't get out? I don't want to go to Turkey. If I go over there, I'm gonna be hot because I missed out on the chance to go to the NBA, and they're not letting me out. I've only been signed a week. Why won't they just let me go? They got plenty of time to get new players. You know what I'm saying? They can go get whoever they want. He was like, all right, man, if we got to fly to Turkey and meet with them people, we're going to fly to Turkey. And I was like, oh, okay, bet. So anyway, I start calling the team. I'm talking to their GM, coach, everything. And they're literally saying they want my 2-year contract in order for me to get out, like the entire money. So I'm like, this is some messed up. Well, one, it's my fault because I signed the contract with no outs. And then 2, they shouldn't be holding me like that when I've only been signed for a week and a half and it's the middle of summer. You can, it's not like it's December or I'm not costing the team anything. So it was out of spite. Like those people, Drew Spaka, they wanted the entire deal. Like they wanted me to pay 2 years. I signed a 2 year deal. They wanted the 2 years and then some for me to get out, for them to let me out. And I remember I was so pissed. I was like, these people, like, why would they do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to go to the league. I'm not even going to a rivalry team. Like, none of that should matter.
Damn well that they would have gave you too much if they cut you.
And then you gotta fight. You gotta fight for your life to get what you're owed if you're there and they late, and stuff like that. So I was pretty hurt, man. And then me and my family came together and we were like, look, we gonna do this the right way. We ain't going, because he was talking about my family was gonna get lawyers involved. We're gonna try to do everything we could to try to get out. And we were like, you know what? We just gonna give them what they ask for. We're gonna come together. We're gonna put this money together. And I was like, nah, this is too much money. It was like $200,000. And I was like, there's no way I'm gonna have my family, and some of the money that I have that I've already made, put that to these people that don't deserve anything, that were just honestly, like, I got some choice words I'm not going to say, you know what I'm saying? But like, really didn't handle the situation right at all. And that I'm gonna leave that at that. But so we did it. We sent them the money. I said, we don't have to speak again. We don't have to do anything. That's it. I'm out. I'm free. And then went on to win a NBA championship. So you see how the Lord works, man. Like, literally, if I would have been in Turkey, I would have missed out on that whole experience. If I never played in the NBA again, I probably had one of the best experiences ever in the NBA. And that's because I feel like me and my family, thank God we were able to do that, come together and put together that money. I felt bad because I felt like we were kind of in a hole after. I felt like put my family through stuff that they probably didn't have to, just so I could have an experience. You see what I'm saying? And the team didn't have to do that. Drew Spaka didn't have to do that. But I did sign. You know what I'm saying? That was me and my agent's fault as well. So it's people at fault all around. But so I did that, and then I was blessed to be on a team, man, and see all these different things, play, and then that's the story. So it's kind of crazy how it works. And that year, Drew Spaka was like last in EuroLeague. I didn't miss out on anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it literally was a complete 180, switch. Like, if I would have been there, probably wouldn't have had that great of a year. Probably, I don't know if I'd be in the same position I had. You know what I'm saying? So it's all everything that happened now, it was supposed to happen. So.
Man, that's crazy. That's a dope story. That's what family for, though, too. But that's a dope story. You don't get to hear a lot of stories like that from an international perspective. Obviously you hear like the Fred VanVleet stories about betting on yourself and stuff like that. So I feel like that's in that same category. So
you say that's what family for till you got that cousin calling you, asking you for some bread. That's what family for.
Hey, I'm telling you, I felt like that cousin, because I was like, man, I'm putting my family in a hole, like in a predicament, and then I got to use some of the bread that I just made. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but it was worth it.
Hey, y'all ever watch Peaky Blinders? Yo, what's that show?
Years ago.
I started, but I never finished.
What he say in that show? He said here's to family. Sometimes it's they take you through the storm, or sometimes it's the storm itself. So, man, look.
That's facts.
I felt that, man. But that's dope. So what's the? I mean, you could take a lot from that experience. I guess real quick. What's the one or two things that you took away from that experience?
Oh man,
from younger guys, advice you would give, whatever.
For younger guys, always, make sure you have outs in your contract. If you cool with just being there no matter what, 100%, over 2,000%, sure you're going, cool. But I always suggest try to get some outs, whether it be NBA, another European team, a buyout, anything that gives you a little bit of leeway, because I had literally nothing in my contract. But you gotta remember, like, coming from a small school, I had a small agent, it wasn't like I was well informed. So I always tell guys, just make sure you leave your cards on the table. Don't sign anything too quick. Triple check your contracts, read everything, like thoroughly. Have somebody else read it with you, even if it's just the auntie, cousin, just somebody else, have some other eyes on it, that they might catch something that you didn't catch. Because Lord knows, if I knew just verbally he was saying he was going to get me out the contract, that's not good enough. It needs to be on paper. You know what I'm saying? Like, saying that I can get out. So just have stuff on paper that's going to help you down the line. Because, I mean, they didn't have to let me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they literally did what they Now I don't agree with them asking for money for stuff. I was only a week into signing with them. They want 2 years worth. Like that's wild. You see what I'm saying? But they didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? They didn't. There was no legal obligation to let me out. So I'm just saying, like, make sure you have something like that in and triple check your stuff and make sure you don't just go off of like intuition or word of mouth, like what your agent said. Make sure you can see it on somebody's paper.
But that's
Yeah.
that's love. That's good to know for people. I didn't read my contracts that much when I was younger. It took me a minute. So
Yeah, facts. We all do that. I mean, too. I'll be like, nah. Try to
yeah.
have somebody else look through that joint.
Yeah, I know Stanford over there probably gonna say he been reading contracts since he was 10. You know what I'm saying? Since
he was 10, signed
Harvard in the West.
I think my first gig in Europe, I was in Italy, and I didn't get my bread. And then after that, I was like, all right. I started taking contracts real serious after that. Like once you start having a contract dispute, you start understanding the value of contracts, and then you'll never shortchange that again. Like you're gonna start going through it thoroughly and making sure that, all right, if I got to spend 2 hours or whatever, double checking every single word in this contract, it's way more beneficial for my next 10 months. So it's definitely worth it, man. Because just a couple little words here and there, man, can really
change everything.
Come back to bite you.
Yep.
Change everything.
Yep. Man, so like you said, you got to be on 2K playing in the league, NBA 2K. So you know what I'm saying? I got a chance when they put the EuroLeague teams on there one time. So that, you know what I'm saying? They had the ratings on. I was a 71, and I was doing East Bay in the game. I was like, damn, y'all got me together.
You was doing that.
Man, I was like, I'll take that. Jumper broke as hell, but I was doing East Bay. Yeah, man. I was like, all right, I can live with that. I can live with that. So that being said, I see obviously it's a big thing. People making money off these video games. Between NBA 2K23 and Madden 23, which one do you think will die out first, or which one do you think will thrive longer?
I don't hear people talk about Madden too much. Do you?
I'm a Madden head. I play Madden more than 2K. So
okay, yeah, I play Madden, but I ain't like I do the little QB1 franchise thing where you get a quarterback, create them. That's all I really do. And I haven't even got to do 2K yet. I'll be on other stuff, but I don't know. I don't hear people. But then again, you'll go and you'll see people be die hard. You know what I'm saying? Football. It's always like, it seems like 2K is coming out every like 5 months instead of every year. But it's like, so it's like people are just like, it's the same. It's the same thing. So that's a good point. Maybe Madden. I feel like Madden's there forever, and then it's always needs a new 2K to stay relevant. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think 2K probably has a little more longevity. We'll probably have a little more longevity just because of like the media coverage of NBA lifestyle, like the drama in the NBA. You follow. I mean, there's an NBA player in the news every other week, whether it's be the actual news or shade room. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a lot more coverage of NBA players, and I think that kind of it benefits 2K because of the different features that you have on there. These fans and these gamers are able to really immerse themselves in that type of lifestyle through the video game. Whereas like Madden, I mean, we don't really get the same coverage on NFL players like off the field. You know what I'm saying? So and I think with the game of basketball is just way more global and it's growing. So I don't think 2K will die out anytime fast, but. I think it would be a dope feature if like 2K, like, you know what I mean, like you had to like go overseas for a year and shit. And
man, I was bro.
Like thug it out, get paid late. Your players frustrated.
Didn't they have one a 2K where there was like he went to China or something? He started off there with his boy or something. Wasn't there like the story mode, and then he like. He started in China, then he had to like do well over there, and then like come try to get back. I don't know.
I would have had PTSD and cut that fucking game off though. I'd have been like, it's some bullshit. Like I ain't fooling with this.
But like I know exactly.
I know how this is gonna play out. You selling me a dream, but I'm really gonna end up in China for the rest of my career. So nope. You're not about to trick me.
Man.
But hey, man, I'm a Madden head. I'm a 3-time COVID Madden champion. So I got to rock with Madden. Madden. The thing about the NBA and the NFL is, like you say, like it seems like the NBA is more popular, and it's not.
It does.
Like it's not, and it's not. The NBA is not more popular than the NFL. It's not more in the States. It's not more popular
in the States. There you go.
It's not more popular than college football, and it's like from a money and it's not close. But obviously, as basketball play, it seems like it is, but it's not.
Okay, I can see that as far as football, because like just the football is a event, you tailgate, the college, the team. You might not even know who on the team, but you're rooting for the team. It's like I can see that in America, but like Ann said, globally for sure, basketball I think obviously is like, but in the States I think football might be a little bigger, obviously, because there's no other football. There's no other football. There's no other football really in the world like that.
But I think even globally, football is bigger than people think. Like I think even in places like London, I think it's bigger than you think globally. Like you go to London, them games are selling out. They're going crazy.
I think it's
the games are
bigger.
Out.
Yeah, but we talking about video games. I don't think Madden sells as many copies as 2K globally.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting to see.
We should have.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
When you start thinking about India and how crazy they are about basketball, like the Philippines, there's so many countries out here that we're not even thinking about outside of Europe and places that we frequent. Like these people are buying 2K. You know what I mean? They're not buying Madden. People overseas a lot of people overseas don't even understand the rules. Like how many times have y'all had to break down American football to a European?
A lot of the people in the States don't understand the rules to basketball. I'll be honest with you.
On the Instagram refs, man. I'll be like, what basketball y'all be
pages
watching,
dedicated to this step through, like dog. I'm so tired of that.
I was just on one yesterday.
Man, look.
I was just on one yesterday.
Given the 10-year lead, Madden has outsold NBA 2K in terms of all-time revenue. So this is just all-time. But that might be, to your point, it might be going the other way right now.
It might be changed. Yeah, it might be changing.
That's all-time revenue. But I think
it's got a 10-year lead.
Back in the day. Like they had NBA Live. I think wasn't Live out before 2K.
Madden's been
Live was out before 2K, and then they were kind
of
of battling, and then 2K took over, and then Madden really just had Game Day, but they kind of got Game Day out of the way.
Game Day,
NFL Game Day.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. It's funny. Back in the day, whether you were Live or 2K or Game Day and Madden, it's kind of like Apple and Android users. Like, you would look at somebody sideways, like, "Yo, why you playing that?"
I played Live.
I
played
Live
until Live was first, and then 2K kind of like, and then 2K got crazy, and I was like, all right, we switching.
Yeah. So 2K too crazy now. I saw a tweet. People really serious about it. I'm like, someone said, "Hey, you gonna adapt to the talent of the game. Stop complaining about the controls. Either you gonna get better, or you gonna die out." I said, "God damn,
dang."
You making $1,000 a
What's
year
life
off
and death
this?
out there, boy?
Down.
Yeah, people take it serious, bro.
I couldn't believe it, man. But I did. I played 2K22, and if you don't put the the adjusted field goal percentage on, I promise you cannot make a shot unless you hit the shot stick just right. So I'm not playing that. I don't have time for it. Like I don't have time to learn Klay Thompson shot release, and even if I did, I don't care to
it's gotten real technical. I will say that, but I be on FIFA, so I play FIFA. And I still play Fortnite, man. Do y'all play Fortnite?
You might have to see me in FIFA
though. My team trying to give me. I've been playing Call of Duty too, Warzone. I'm just terrible at that, so I'm trying to learn, bro. But it is what it is. FIFA, I'll see. I'm gonna send you. We gonna play. I don't even
got a system right now, but you're gonna see me in FIFA. I'll go find one. Don't worry. I'm a natural. Yeah. I'm a natural. You know what I'm saying? I'll find a system.
My dog got headphones. He about to start buying video games. He living good over there. He getting them checks.
He living clear.
Hey, don't even worry about it. I'm in the Hall of Fame right now. You know what I mean?
Right. Man, look, I'm over here. No cut. Bad Wi-Fi. He over there with the Nike Tech on. White beast.
Wait till about May. I'm gonna be down bad again. You know what I'm saying? But nah, we got paycheck, rain check last segment for you.
Yeah, last segment, man. Paycheck, rain check. Somebody's paycheck is taking a rain check, man. Today's focus: Nick Young, Adrian Peterson. You know, the athletes are crossing over into the boxing world in their retirement. I have to believe this is an effort to get a paycheck. But I think that, you know, I look at this and, you know, there's a couple questions that come to my head, and it's like, why are you stepping into the ring? Like, is this a money play or something that you really like, you know, enjoy doing? And I mean, as we saw, like getting knocked out does not look fun, man.
At all.
You know, but
At all.
like, what is the appeal here for these athletes? I mean, we saw it with Nate Robinson and all these other players. Like, is it really worth it?
You know, I hope it's not a money play. You know, I hope that they were able to, you know, invest or save a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And some people might just be like looking for the next thing, you know, and then it takes off. So who knows? But it's like, I just think it's like the new thing now. It's like all these celebrity boxing matches and stuff. Like, that's kind of like the new, you know, everybody's kind of into it. So people are just willing to. And I don't know, maybe them dudes been boxing. I haven't boxed before, so I know I probably wouldn't be stepping in that ring unless they offering some Floyd Mayweather money, which I know they're not gonna offer me. But yeah, I hope it's really not for the bread. Maybe it's just to try something new. You know, maybe it's just to see if they can do something. But chances are they trying to probably get a check, and get it how you live, man. You know, I hope.
AP got knocked out, right?
His knee looked like it.
Hey,
I was like, oh,
as a Vikings fan, that hurt my soul. But football players just like getting hit in the head, dog. Like, I don't know what it like. There ain't no way, especially as a running back, I'm gonna spend 10, 12 years, and then just
Getting
and the
hit.
next thing let me go box. Like, your brain needs a break. Your face, like. That's insane.
It all needs a break.
Man, that's insane. So I don't know
Nick
about
Young.
that.
Nick Young's was wild, bro. Like, did he get pushed? He got hit and then fell out the ring or something? Like, what was going on there?
Yeah.
That was wild. I love Swaggy P too. That's why I was like, damn, what's going on? You know, like
ruining the whole image of him. Like, damn, man, I used to look up to you.
Swaggy, what's going?
You know, it's funny because, like, I remember when I first came out of school, like, I had a torn labrum, so I had hip surgery. So I was at Stanford for like the whole year. I sat out, and so I started training at this boxing gym because I couldn't run. So I'm at this boxing gym. They had me coming in with the pros. I'm like training every day or whatever it is, right? And then so Michael Crabtree used to come in there. So like me and Mike, we used to just talk shit all the time. So they had like an event where it was called like Fight Night. So they would have like the people that came to the regular everyday people that would come to the boxing gym, like for the classes, if they wanted to, they would assign them a trainer for like 3 weeks and you would train for this fight. You would have like ring card girls and make it like a real boxing event. And so I really wanted to fight Crabtree, and he wasn't with it, and but I really wanted to fight Crabtree. But I was just thinking back to that, like, that's just my competitive nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, both of us wanted to step into the ring, but it's like when you really see like Nate Robinson and Nick Young and like how things can go bad if you're on the opposite end of that.
Yeah.
Like, that shit don't look cool, man. Like,
it don't. I like that take though about the competitive nature. Like, them guys been competing. They're probably looking for that same rush, from competing in basketball and stuff like that. But it's like, maybe you could find something else to compete in,
Hey,
I don't know.
look,
like that.
Yes.
It looked brutal. It looked brutal.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, competitive nature got to have some type of
limit.
I don't really see limit, but common sense. Like, I'm just not competing in anything. Like, I'm not about to go just find somebody to play chess against or something like that. I got no interest in that. So where does like boxing come from? I like. You know what I'm saying? If you want to compete, you want to compete in something that you have a chance to compete in, right? Or it's competitive nature, you just want to win at anything.
Everybody think they can fight, right? How many times you've been growing up in school, man? I this, I that, what I'm saying? Everybody probably think they got hands. and you're gonna get paid for it. So it's like,
see, my motto
Bro, see,
different.
the first time I was sparring and I got hit in the face, and I had headgear on, bro. Like the first time, like it like rings, like when they say like you got your bell rung, like literally like you feel it in your head, like you know what I'm saying, like and it's crazy,
cool.
man. It really is a different experience, man. But I think that I think that it is the competitive nature in these athletes, and especially football players. Like I've been getting hit in the head all my life. I can take hits and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? And you just think like going into the ring, man, it's a dangerous game. I just pray that these guys, if you're gonna do it, let's keep it at boxing. Don't get into MMA and all that other shit. Like now, you really you can really leave with some other kind of injuries, man.
Yeah, now MMA look crazy, man. That look illegal what they doing in that.
Fighting the last thing you need to have false confidence about. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I know my strengths. I can't fight, but I ain't no bitch. But I can't fight.
Exactly. Like, we ain't gonna back down, but until a certain point, right? If we need to, we gonna get down, but like we not doing it willingly.
Right.
I'm also 32. I ain't got no reason to be fighting nobody unless it's over family or something like that. I'm a grown ass man. I ain't got time for it. You know what I'm saying?
I heard that.
Yo, is there a celebrity fight you would want to see though?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe like, hey, I'm trying to think. Nah, I was gonna say Trump too old. Put Barack and Trump in there.
Yeah.
Somebody need to knock my man out, man. Put Barack in there, man.
Yo, that I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I was just thinking like, man, who would I like? You know what I'm saying? We talk about people getting knocked out. Like, let's see what's going on, man.
Yo,
Barack and Trump.
Yo,
I think Barack will be smooth in the ring.
Smooth.
I think he'll be smooth in the ring.
Barack
man.
might be smooth, but he might get knocked out too. He might be knocked out trying to be too smooth. Like, hey man, like, this ain't the place to be cool, man.
That'd be wild. That'd be wild to see that.
Barack and Trump.
That just shifted my whole mindset. Like I'm thinking.
Right.
I don't know what to say, man. Damn, I thought you was gonna say an athlete of some sort.
Nah, I was trying to go outside the box.
I like that.
Weren't in the sports business. Yeah,
I like that.
That's funny.
I like that, man. But look, hey, we can end it on that, man. That's a perfect way to go out. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, someone that sees this got some pull can set up that Barack versus Trump part 1.
Oh yeah, part 1. You know it's gonna be.
It's gotta be 3 parts. It's gotta be 3 parts, man. But hey, man, listen. Scoring savant Jordan Loyd, we appreciate you pulling up with us, taking the time to share your story, and it was fun. We hope to have you again, and good luck this season in Monaco. And anything else you want to share before we cut off?
No, appreciate you guys having me, man. Love what you guys are doing. I'm following, I'm watching, man. Kudos to you guys, man. Really, really loving all the content you guys are doing. So appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And y'all stay safe out here, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Role Player Podcast. We'll catch y'all next time.